Are you still vacillating on moving forward with obtaining your revocation of election? Are you concerned about the price or efficacy? Sounds too good to be true? Perhaps we can help dispel those doubts. Regarding the price, it's important to stress the difference between price and value. The price of an item is the cost, whereas the value is the comparison between what you pay and what you get. A vast majority of Americans pay at least $3,800 per year in federal income tax, and many Americans pay more than $10,000 annually. It's vital to note that the revocation of election removes you from the U.S. tax club for the current tax year plus all future years. That's quite a return on your one-time investment. The payback period is well under a year. Just imagine, if you pay $5,000 per year in income tax and you have 10 years remaining before retirement, that equates to $50,000 in income tax that you'd be paying if you remained as a voluntary U.S. taxpayer. Our fee is but a tiny fraction of the annual tax cost you currently have before you. The small fee for the revocation of election is certainly much less than you'd expect to pay in a tax you were never imposed with in the first place, according to the U.S. Supreme Court in the Pollock decision. The Regulation 26 CFR Section 1.871-1A states that non-resident alien individuals, American nationals, have no federal income tax liability unless they derive their income which is effectively connected with the conduct of a statutory trade or business, which is defined in the Internal Revenue Code to mean the performance of the functions of a public office within or without the District of Columbia. This is why we evaluate your status via our 8 strict criteria to determine if you can become a client for this process. The vast majority of Americans do qualify. Regarding the efficacy, please remember that the U.S. Congress provides the exit door to the U.S. tax club, not us. They had to do this to avoid violating the 13th Amendment by compelling Americans to associate with the national government when there is no requirement in the Constitution to do so. We've helped over 3,000 clients perform their revocation of election. That's a pretty solid and lengthy track record of success. We direct your attention to the statute 26 U.S.C. section 6013G, where the ability to terminate one's election in initially becoming a U.S. taxpayer can be performed by the American himself. If you have any doubts, please read the statute for yourself at law.cornell.edu. A link will be provided below in the show notes. If you're still unclear about the meaning of the 16th Amendment or the difference in the 2 jurisdictions for entities referred to as the United States, please review the educational videos in our Resource Center regarding the revocation of election and jurisdiction. Your constitutionally protected inalienable rights cannot be voided by any government agency. You're the one who decides to maintain yourself as a sovereign American. Again, we've helped thousands of Americans revoke their election and clarify their true status as sovereign Americans and lawful non-taxpayers to the national government. The U.S. Congress has provided you with this option to leave the U.S. tax club and to do so permanently. Once you complete our revocation of election process, you're free from any further record keeping, filing, or payment regarding the federal income tax starting from the year you completed the process through all future years. Just so you know, if you've not filed a Form 1040 for prior years and then complete the revocation of election process we created, it's still possible to receive an IRS enforcement action such as a lien or levy, again for prior tax years. We can also help you defeat those actions in a separate process. Please see our website, Weiss+Assoc, for more information on that. Should you have any further questions, please email us at bilateral@gmx.com and perhaps even schedule a brief, no-obligation phone consultation. Thanks for considering the revocation of election, the rock-solid procedure offered by Weiss & Associates.